Welcome to the series where I show you what I cook every day to replicate the pleasure of junk food while still having a healthy meal and also being easy, okay, efficient to prepare. So I want you to imagine a big potato, okay, and a lot of small potatoes, okay. We have a big potato and small potatoes, fuck, I inverted them. So you put them into a pot of water, okay, and you cook them, like you boil the water. Which one is gonna cook quicker? Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, the small one, okay. So we have a cooked small one and a uncooked big one, okay, makes sense. So I wanted to imagine now I take the big potato and I cut it in many pieces, okay, the same size roughly of the other potatoes. Yeah, it's gonna cook the same time as the other small potatoes. So the reason I'm telling you this is because today I wanted to cut potatoes, but I only had these small potatoes, okay, and I wanted to cut them smaller than they are, okay, in this video. I needed to cut them more. Now, would you prefer to cut, okay, a lot of small potatoes or a few, like one big potato that you can treat it like a fucking brick and you can cut it easily, okay? It's fucking block, so you can like decide how big you cut it and shit. Well, I didn't have the big potato, so I used the small one. It's gonna fucking doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't really matter. Just saying this out loud because, you know, I had small potatoes. It's more efficient if I had big potatoes, but it's the fucking same thing, okay? It doesn't really matter. It just took a little bit more time, just telling you that. So generally my rule is that if you have to boil them, like if you have to use the boiled potato because of the paste it creates, well, just use small potatoes. They will be quicker. I've made countless, actually not countless, 3 videos about me making meatballs, and they all required potato, okay, mashed potatoes. And I always, bro, I'm fucking inverted. Whenever I need to make like meatballs, I use big potatoes that take a fuck ton of time to cook in the water. When I'm making this kind of meals, I don't have the big potatoes, so I use the small ones. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut them. And so yeah, if you... Oh, fucking hell. Just scared as fuck. Fucking watches. Cool, do I? Scare the fuck out of me. What the fuck? Anyway. Yeah, cutting potatoes doesn't really matter the size. So yeah, I have to take myself, like, spike of cortisol, Jesus Christ. And yeah, cut the potatoes. The size does not really matter. I'm cutting this amount. Honestly, if I just cut them in half and in quarters, it's gonna be fine. If you want to cut them smaller than this, go ahead. To be honest, I use this size. So I'm just gonna cook them. I also forgot to add that potato. I didn't add it at the end. So the important thing here now is to include salt, fat, and the other 4 pillars, okay? If you know me, you know I have a philosophy about cooking, and to replicate the pleasure of junk food, okay, we basically have to do the same thing they do with their food, okay? So we have to include the 6 pillars that, by the way, don't have to be unhealthy. Salt is not unhealthy. Fat, if you're not using like canola oil or some weird processed seed oil, you're not gonna get much, you know, health downsides. I cannot speak today, so I'm using olive oil. You can either also use butter, clarified butter, even better. And we have the fat and we have the salt. Usually the tortilla stops here, and it is why I like to make it myself, so that I basically can fix the recipe, the original recipe. Which, if you think about it, tortilla, if we look at the 6 pillars, which are salt, fat, umami, acidity, sweetness, and digestibility, it only has salt and fat, okay? Pretty much that. If you follow the normal, like the original recipe. I think the original recipe maybe has onions, I'm not sure about that. By the way, it's a really good fit if you add onions. But my point is that I'm gonna add a few ingredients that will make the tortilla better. So I wanted to notice a thing. I had a lid on, okay? I had a lid on because what a lid basically allows you to do is to basically not let the water evaporate off, okay? Why is this useful? So you have to understand that water only can get up to 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, you cannot get liquid water over 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, there is only 100 degrees maximum. Okay, you can literally, there is no instances unless the atmospheric pressure changes and shit, but in which you can have liquid water at 105 degrees Celsius, for example. It only reaches 100 degrees Celsius. So this is useful because you cannot burn your food. Okay, if you have water, but literally if you are boiling, you cannot burn the boiled food. Okay, if you are boiling pasta, you cannot burn pasta. Okay, if you are boiling meat, you cannot burn meat, and it is very important. So this was a convenient thing to do, to cook my potatoes, and I could go do whatever the fuck I wanted meanwhile. Now I'm adding a broth, like broth powder. I have to search up the name, but it is basically a bouillon, you know, the stock powder you can put in the water to make it a broth. And I'm doing this, okay, because I'm adding more pillars, okay. I'm making the recipe better, basically more satisfying, okay. Usually junk food companies will exploit this by adding some MSG, monosodium glutamate. Look at the labels of very savory snacks, and they will have monosodium glutamate, plus sometimes they also have some flavor enhancer. What I mean by flavor enhancer is umami enhancer, savoriness enhancer. They motherfuckers usually basically use this other molecule together with monosodium glutamate. Maybe it's not a molecule, it's a compound, I don't fucking know the science name, but they use this other compound that is basically, like, if you eat it together with the monosodium glutamate, the umami perception. Umami, by the way, is savoriness. It's not saltiness. Umami is like the tastes good stuff. Okay, it's hard to explain, but just search up umami, you will maybe get a picture. And that molecule, compound, enhances the like 10 times fold the umami sensation. So by adding broth powder, you are not adding that specific molecule that enhances the flavor, but you are still adding umami, monosodium glutamate. There are many forms of monosodium glutamate. There is not, obviously, to get monosodium glutamate, you don't have to use the broth powder. You can also buy that singularly, but yes, you can also get it from other foods like whole foods. Tomatoes is a great example. Meat is a great example. But yes, I'm using this concentrated form because it is quicker and it is more convenient. Okay, we're for convenience here. We're not chefs. So I added the broth powder, but keep in mind that broth powder is not only umami, it is also very salty. Okay, broth powder, obviously, it has to satisfy the broth. It doesn't have to satisfy the umami. Like, sorry, when you use the broth powder, its intended use is to make broth, so it also has to be a little bit salty. And when it is concentrated, obviously there is going to be more salt, not only umami. So just keep that in mind. If you already added too much salt, don't add that, because it is going to make it even saltier. So take that into account and regulate accordingly. Another small note here, I give this for granted, I may as well explain it. You see the egg yolks, they basically have a membrane around it that basically keeps them from falling apart. When you whisk the eggs, okay, I highly suggest you break that membrane. It will be quicker. Basically, you will already break the membrane, so basically the yolk will flow out, and it will be quicker to whisk. Okay, just a small tip. Adding vinegar, okay, rice vinegar. Rice vinegar is acidic. Okay, there are many acidic ingredients. You can choose your favorite. I'm just using rice vinegar, quite bland and quite acidic. Why am I adding it? Obviously, if you know me, the pleasure hypothesis, the 6 pillars. Okay, acidity is a pillar of the 6 pillar. Okay, of the physical domain of the pleasure hypothesis, and we already have added we already added umami. I was about to say MSG, but obviously it's not. Anyway, we added umami. We added salt and fat, which are the original things. We added umami by our own, and we are also adding acidity. Okay, the only 2 pillars that are missing are sweetness and digestibility. But to be honest, it is so good this way because the pillars are apparently intense already. I will not add those 2 last pillars. So we will go for the vinegar to add acidity. You can go for lemon. I don't fucking know. You fucking decide, to be honest. And yeah, this is kind of it. So let me see the notes. Pillars recap, acidity. So yes, I did a pillar recap. So I'm putting the lid back on. Yes, I forgot the potato there. So I'm putting the lid back on because maybe I'm wanting to cook them more. I don't fucking know. Wait, let me skip a few seconds because there is a cool point now. No, actually, I'll tell it now. Fuck it. So the lid. Okay, now we remove the lid because I want the water to evaporate. Before we didn't want the water to evaporate. You remember, because we wanted to cook the potatoes without burning them. But now I want the potatoes to be basically browning. Okay, you have to understand that to brown something, okay, it has to go through the Maillard reaction. Okay, the Maillard reaction occurs in the temperature range that is obviously above 100 degrees. You cannot get the Maillard reaction with 100 degrees. So water will not give you the Maillard reaction. Think about when you boil some vegetables or you boil some pasta. You're not browning them. Okay, if you stir fry them, yes, sure, because fat can get to those temperature. Okay, this dry heating versus wet heating. Is it the right word? I don't know. But there is like the wet heating, wet cooking is basically with water. Dry cooking is basically not water. Okay, if there is not water but there is also fat, for example, it is dry cooking. And dry cooking allows you to get to the temperature required to have the Maillard reaction occur. So now you see I'm doing the science and I'm saying now I can let the water escape so that I can brown them. Okay, because as long as there is water, remember, wet cooking, you cannot brown them. I want browning because browning basically enhances the umami perception and also digests the food more. Okay, digestibility, remember, when I say it digests the food more, I mean it breaks it down more than if you didn't. So I did a quick cut and you see, now it is browning. It was not browning before, but because there was water, if you recall. But now it is browning. Now it is browning because there is fat. The water evaporated. I removed the lid, so the water kind of evaporated. And now there is only fat. And the fat, remember, it can reach the temperature required. So I will brown this a little bit more, and then I will add the eggs to make the tortilla. By the way, actually, I don't give a fuck if you do. Don't get offended if I change a lot of recipes. I don't, to be honest, I don't give a fuck if your grandmother made a recipe in a certain, I don't give a fuck, shut up. So I will like how do I say this, I will change a lot of traditional recipes, and yeah, just be prepared for that. So I waited a little bit more and I browned the potatoes even more. Can you see? So again, there is no water. I removed the lid so the water could escape. The lid was keeping the water in, and now I feel like the potatoes are cooked enough. So I will do something that, to be honest, is not really required. This is a recipe requirement. To be honest, I've tried not doing it and it turns out fine anyway. I just wanted to do it, but to be honest, you don't have to. So I'm talking about pouring the potatoes into the egg mixture, okay? You can just, because this is how it goes for the recipe originally. If you pour the hot potatoes, okay, into the eggs, you basically create a small like attachment between the eggs and the potatoes, because like they start to cook, like the hot potatoes start to cook the eggs around them. So it kind of keeps more attached. Wait, I don't know. Anyway, like, sorry if I can explain myself. I want to say that it keeps the eggs together with potatoes more, okay, instead of just pouring them on top. To be honest, I've tried that both ways. It changes really slightly. If you have the patience and you have a glass, not plastic, container where you can pour the potatoes in, go ahead. If you don't, it's fine. Just pour the egg mixture on top and don't bother pouring them. Fuck. So I'm putting the lid back on because now the lid also has a second purpose. Okay. It has the purpose of basically acting as a oven. Okay, when you put a lid on something, you basically allow the heat above the food to be trapped. Okay, that heat will cook slowly, will cook the top side of the in this case of the tortilla, okay, of the omelette. And it was not cooked enough for me. I am going to, it was like too runny, too liquidy on top, so I just waited more. and I put the lid back on and I waited more. Now it is more cooked. So I want to make you a note here, a very important note. So I'm getting ready to flip the omelette, but I want you to understand that first of all, you don't have to do that. To be honest, at the beginning it may be a little bit overwhelming if you're just starting out. So don't bother, honestly. Just wait for it to be cooked. So there are two good reasons to flip a tortilla. I will go all over them. But, okay, there is a but. So the two good reasons are that you will not burn the bottom, meaning if you flip the tortilla, you will not only cook the bottom, okay, hoping that eventually it will cook also on the top, and usually that leads to an overcooked bottom. So if you don't use a low enough temperature, okay, if you use a low temperature, it will be evenly cooked, even if you wait for the top to be cooked and you never turn the tortilla. Does it make sense? I hope it does. And second reason is that there is more browning. If you let the lid, okay, the heat trapped by the lid, cook the top as we just discussed, you will not get the browning reaction. Okay, there will be no drowning. There will be no browning. Fuck, I'm stumbling now. And if you turn the tortilla, you will also have the browning in the other side. To be honest, it's so little that it's almost negligible. If you don't want to stress over it and you want to have this meal, this is delicious, by the way. I didn't mention that it is delicious. You can just not flip it and slide it into the plate. Completely fine. Okay. So yes, this was the but. But if you don't really care, just put it into the fucking plate. It's gonna be good anyway. So this was a delicious meal. Very, healthy. There is no shit in here. There is no other sugars like in the junk foods. And just apply these not caring principles. Like, I never care too much when I cook, okay? This is what you need to do. Don't care too much about the recipe. I did care too much in this case when I put the potatoes into the bowl while in the egg mixture, okay? I could have easily avoided that. It was not needed. But yeah, I'm not even knowing what to say now, just improvising random shit. And yeah, if you have any question, man, drop a comment. I will try to answer them. If I made something that didn't sound right to you, ask me, I will answer you. And yeah, this was delicious. Leave a like, comment, check the links in the description, maybe if I have them. I don't know if I have them. And I'm out.
Thank you.